The 2024 County Budget Transparency Survey conducted by Bajeti Hub shows that there has been a significant improvement in fiscal openness at the county level since 2020, but warns that critical gaps persist, limiting public accountability. The report, which is conducted across all counties, aims to assess the availability and comprehensiveness of budget documents at the county to ensure inclusion of the citizenry in the budget-making process. Here is Jimmy Mbogo with more on the findings.
The latest release of the County Budget Transparency Survey shows a concerning trend of a decline in public participation feedback, which fell to an average of 12 points out of 100, down from 13 points recorded in the previous year. The report further shows that counties do not provide 39% of the budget information required by law, limiting the full involvement of the citizens. Even as some counties continue to restrict information, opting not to provide any information on public participation since 2020.
We cannot improve what we cannot see. And therefore, a big part of this is asking ourselves, how do we ensure that budgets are visible to the various categories of citizens? How do we ensure that budgets are visible to the men and women, to the children of our country, to persons with disability?
Budget documents need to be made available on time in order to be useful. And one of the things that we've seen in the survey over time is that counties have often published more budget documents after we present them with the findings. Again, the availability stage has two steps where we do a full check of county government websites to see the availability of these documents.
The report further reveals that county governments have made strides in transparency, with 72% of counties scoring above 60 out of 100, indicating that a majority are meeting transparency benchmarks. The Lake Region Economic Bloc registered the highest improvement at 14 points, while North Rift Economic Bloc has an 11-point improvement. However, experts caution that more documents don't translate to greater comprehensiveness.
One of the things we found in the survey, in the 2024 survey, so the latest survey, is that there's been a moderate and positive correlation between the availability of budget documents and comprehensiveness, and their comprehensiveness. And for those of us who hate math, this indicates that there's a higher number of documents, that a higher number of budget documents does not always translate into greater comprehensiveness. So you can release an additional number of documents, but they may have, they may be less comprehensive than previously established.
And without giving counties this sort of reports, everybody at national will always find a reason to claw back on devolution. Ladies and gentlemen, counties lost 20 billion shillings after the Gen Z revolution. Counties are continuing to lose money. In the graphs on support to devolution, the graph is now constant for the last 5 years and has begun to dip.
In the latest report, the counties of West Pokot, Makueni and Busia held the highest transparency scores, while Marsabit had the lowest transparency score, reflecting minimal inclusion of the citizens. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.